Hello and welcome, I'm Tafara Gadamu. My guest started small and with a couple of false starts. Well, Semhal Guesh now hires over 130 workers, mostly women, and exports her refined bags primarily to Europe. And she's expanding big time into shoes as well as textile products. With the International Women's Day as a backdrop, we'll look into how women do business by largely banking on women themselves. A very warm welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So how old are you as a business? 6, 7?
7 right now. We started March 2017.
March 2017. Yeah. So you started with producing bags, right?
Yes.
It wasn't an easy beginning, was it?
It wasn't at all, but we are here now. So I guess we were supposed to go through that.
So tell me about your products, about your bags primarily.
Our bags are mainly designed in Ethiopia with a modern touch, but with historical background integrated within our designs. And we market it towards the international market as a product that is beautiful, but that also has a social impact on the livelihoods or on the employees' livelihoods. Yeah, and I love it.
So why bags? Because they are marketable? What is it? What got you started with bags?
Well, my background is architecture, and so being an architect kind of gets you into creating and innovating different things. So when I was studying architecture, we had to do different models, like house models and everything, like project models. We had to go to Mercato, purchase these materials. So right next to where you purchase the architectural modeling materials, there's West leather shops. So they sell vests from factories. Little did I know that it's going to lead me here, but I started taking those and experimenting with my friends with bracelets and everything. So I stitched my first bag with hand and presented it on the market on an artisan bazaar. And they had a very good feedback and everything. And for me, it was really innovating. Okay, what if I do the colors like this? What if I, match the proportion of the size like this? Okay, I need a bag for my laptop. This is how it should be. I need a backpack and everything. So it wasn't primarily focused on, like, I'm going to do bags and then I'm going to sell it to export bags. But it kind of organically grew into that. And thankfully, it was accepted very well, and we're now where we are.
When you say accepted, are you talking about the local buyers or about the international ones?
More generally, towards both. But right now, our big market is international.
But in the beginning, when you felt that you were doing the right thing, where you basically said it was very well received, right, by the ones who saw what you produced at the bazaar, right?
Yeah, first was my mom. Of course, but you cannot trust your family's feedback because they love you and they might say, oh, wow, it's beautiful. But my family bought my bags first. And they were like, okay, great. And then I took it to the exhibition for actual sale and it was sold. It was very nice accepted and it was a local market as well. And then somebody bought it from here and took it to US, I think, and then contacted right now the clients we have 7 years back emailed us and said, like, we saw your bags. Can you do this as a sample for us? I was like, sure. But they're still our clients 7 years 7 years into it. And then another person took it to Germany, and then another person took it to Kenya, another one to Nigeria. So it kind of, it goes like that.
It's interesting because when it started 7 years ago, you were not the only one, certainly, but there are also plenty others working on the same thing that you started working on. It was a very stiff competition right from the very beginning, correct?
Yes. It is. I guess my dad always used to say, never forget the goal you have and never leave it, right? So very persistent, very consistent in what you do and continue making it better. You don't just start something and just leave it because it's difficult. It's a tough market. You continue and add up to it. We've faced many challenges as a business, as a person, living here and working and practicing here as well. So whenever I face that as a person, I'm like, okay, I have a goal. That's where I want to go. So just moving forward, I guess.
When did you realize that you were doing the right thing? I mean, a year into doing this, into this business, 2 years later, when?
The first salary I paid, I actually don't remember the date, but it was a few months into the business. I failed a couple of times before that, but doing different types of business. But with KABANA, it was paid my first salary to an employee. I was already employed in an architectural firm, so I already had a salary. So paid her, and then she took that money. I remember I asked her, what did you do with that money? Because for me, it was exciting to pay the first salary. She was like, oh, I paid for my little sister's school. I'm like, and then she also paid, it wasn't a lot of money. And then she also said that she started a design school and she's paying for that as well. I'm like, okay, so this is the right thing. It's not only about design anymore. It's really about what we do actually brings change. She was really young back then, and then she's already supporting one. And within our Ethiopian context, it's 4.6, one person. If you pay one person, that person supports 4.6, close to 5 people, right? So you kind of see it, and then one person became 5 people, 5 became 15. And they bring their families, they bring their kids. So then you see that it's more than you.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, the reason why I've raised that question is this. I mean, before you started this business, you've already kind of failed a couple of times.
Yeah.
As a business, there are two ventures.
Yes. Failed completely. It wasn't like a small failure or something. And I guess business, it has to be matched with the passion. I know you love what you do. And for me, it took some time to find out what I really love. I used to do events, promotional items, printing, architectural freelancing works. But this one, I had the passion and the drive for it. And when I matched it with...
And probably telling yourself, I can fail again.
No, I had lessons. Now it would be, I'll be the fool if I continued failing, But I also had the right people around me. I had AWIB, Association of Women in Business. The people there, I had a good mentor, Adan. My father was always there with me. And I've learned as well customs and revenue rules, all of the things that makes a business very challenging.
Interesting. Now you have how many workers?
A total of 130 over our value chain. It impacts around 600 people indirectly. Around the factory, we have around 60 people that are permanently benefiting within our company. Benefits means full packets of maternity leave, basic health, and all of that. I wish I can take everybody into permanent payrolls, but so.
So with lots of benefits. Okay. So wage-wise, you think that you're paying them okay?
Right now,
because women, you're a woman, I know your perspectives on this issue, but women often are underpaid.
Yes.
But they happen to be doing a lot more work than they're paid, actually.
Yes, that's a fact on a lot of manufacturing spaces. The wages matching the work is not the reality, unfortunately, in our country. And we've really tried to, when we started and when we continued, I guess about 2-3 years ago as well, we made sure that we're paying 3 times the market price. If not 3 times, by minimum, we have to pay 2 times. At one time, it was 4, but inflation has went away. Life has become expensive. But we do pay a livable wage that we have set by studying the market.
Do you constantly, periodically review that?
We do. We're actually currently reviewing it because of inflation, as I said, transport costs, lots of everyday, food items prices increasing. So we're really reviewing. We have to.
Well, definitely, inflation has gone through the roof, literally. So you say that intentionally, by design, you hire women.
Yes.
What's the percentage?
80%. 80% by policy, it's more than that. But by minimum, we hire 80% of our staff are women. My management, we have 2 men. We have 12 management team, and 10 of them are women. And I'm very proud of being enabled to do that.
How do you source the workforce? I mean, you need to have women who are a little bit trained to do the job. Is that a correct assessment? Is that what it is?
You're actually very right.
So isn't it difficult for you to source women who can do the job? Or you put them into a process of training and so on?
Yes. We when we first recruit them, especially the production team, we go into different organizations or partner, and it might be shelters, it might be returnees that were being trained by TVET and other projects, and then interns that we take.
When you say returnees, these are women who've been working as maids largely in the Arab world.
Yes.
Largely.
They return back, and the first thing, they're at risk of migrating again. And then second thing is they might be coming with no savings or nothing. And the third is they have to be rehabilitated into the workforce within the country or within the city that they're in. So the first thing that we were able to do was on-job training. That's what I was open to. But then we saw it and we're like, okay, I think back then I took about 18 people from there, and it was too many people. But we're like, if we're hiring, if we're recruiting, we can do this from this area. So I personally got involved in recruitment, and then intentionally going to shelters and interviewing. And then we also made sure that we were hiring the mothers as well, especially if they're single mothers. So because we can do it. I mean, we're selling our beautiful bags. We're getting profits from our bags. We use the profits to do the trainings and recruitment. So that fills our workforce. And the management, so that's where it actually gets tricky, because that one you cannot train. I have to hire smarter people than me. My CFO has 13 years of experience. My GM has a couple of years of actual business management. So
both also women?
Yeah, both women. And my export director had to also be, she directs our shipping and exports. My project manager also does, project management. And I cannot train that. It's also difficult to find areas unless you are trained for 4 years. So I had to source from, recommendations, our network of Association of Women in Business, different ETO jobs. We looked into different areas, and we had to hire professional women from that as well.
But for the workers, I guess you're specific as the one who is directly involved in hiring those. I think you're looking for women who are disadvantaged. I guess women, single mothers, very important. They're also disadvantaged in a way. Do you also look for women with disabilities and provide them this opportunity?
Yes, we did. It's not a big number, but we did also hire disabled women within our team. But at one point, I wasn't able to do that fully because we were located on a 3rd floor. So in order for our company to be...
They're not, most of the buildings in town are not...
Yes, accessible. But we did choose who we can work with, how we can work with. And I remember also learning a bit of sign language in order, because she came with her father-in-law to be hired for an interview. She's like, I heard you hire disabled women. I would like to be part of the team. She came by herself because we were trying to go to places and find out who we can support, who we can train, who we can hire. And I can tell you this, her name is Sarah. She became the best part of the cutting team. And we were able to say, is the work difficult? Are you okay? And then she brought her 2 children. We also had a small daycare in our space. We also still have it. We're still under renovation. So the small daycare allowed her to bring her kids after school or when it's summer break. So they come there and they also translate for me as well. So it was quite joyful to be able to create that space.
Meaning fulfilling.
fulfilling. Yeah, very fulfilling.
So do you consider yourself someone who has a degree of social responsibility in terms of addressing all these issues?
We don't market ourselves like that when we even started, but we do say that we are bringing a positive change within our community, and I feel like it creates a ripple effect.
There are other issues too. That no child labor is involved here,
Yes.
and also other key elements, right?
Yes. So we did try to standardize our company with following the ILO standards and checking if we're really fulfilling as a business all of the social responsibility, corporate responsibility, at the same time policies that we like no child labor. What is the age we're hiring? We even made sure that we're checking IDs when we're hiring because they're quite young sometimes when they come and they want work. So we check the age limit on that, and then assuring that we're covering all of our basic assessment before hiring as well. And are we also taking care of the sustainable elements is it energy, water, wastage? We made sure that none of our waste was going to landfill. We're constantly recycling our wastes as well. So, checking quite a couple of more aspects and looking at it very broadly as well. Yeah.
These are very important in marketing your products, right?
Yeah.
So now you are very well received in some countries in Europe. Is that correct?
Yes.
And also other African countries here.
Yes.
Tell me about the export trade that you have. Well, AGOA is not still in the pipeline. I can see that you are tremendously affected by the lack of it.
Yeah.
But as far as other destinations of your products are concerned, you seem to be on the right track, correct?
Yes. I would like to go by saying that it's going to be even more. Be very optimistic about it. We had tremendous impact by AGOA, by COVID when we're exporting. But right now we're slowly getting back into it. I see 2023 looks good. The prospects look good. To Europe market, our e-commerce site is selling largely to Europe market. Germany, more specifically Switzerland. It's not in EU, but still. So there's a German-speaking cities, so we're marketing to that as well. Within Africa, Rwanda is a very big prospect. It's a small country, but it's really a positive area to do business and to export to. West Africa, Nigeria, and then trying to also market to our Southern Africa as well. I do believe there is a lot more market within our Africa, and my product being KABANA, being an African product, I feel like it has more competitive edge towards the continent's market. But right now, our largest markets are US and EU. I'm actively working with my team to change it and make Africa our biggest market.
When will you be making a breakthrough along that line in Africa?
I guess towards 2024, mid of 2024, we'll be able to visibly see the impact because we've been investing during 2022 and now beginning of 2023 on it. So mid of 2024, we'll visibly see the fruits of our investment.
What are the biggest challenges that you see in the years ahead? You had really been affected by the pandemic.
Yeah.
And also tangentially by the conflict that we've gone through. But what are the challenges?
In terms of challenges, we can list them down and, continue talking about it. But the large would be how financially open the market is. Is it enabling ecosystem within here? Because it's very difficult for clients to pay for one bag to an Ethiopian product. Because if the client doesn't want the bag, it's very hard for the client to return the bag and for us to refund his money. So I see a financial ecosystem enabling. So we're also trying to invest our time and our money into the digital ecosystem, how we can solve this. So I see it as being a hindering point. And then as our market expands, I see also that we need quite a good independent team. So I need skilled labor within my team that would manage our digital platforms. So I have to be able to create that team. And then thirdly, I really see that the stability of materials and sourcing of the materials is becoming difficult as the time goes. Of course, you can have different way of solving it as we're an export company, but you cannot set a price and then the price changes next month. Or it's not even available in the market. So availability of materials and stability, I would say. This up and downs. You cannot plan projections and everything.
It's not predictable.
It's not predictable.
And the fact that you've moved also into textile, would you be affected the way you are affected with the...
Textile is actually even more challenging. It was a problem child from the beginning, but I would consider it a silver lining. So the textile, most of the industry that was producing the textile, the raw material is not now available. So we're having quite a huge challenge. When we finish our stock of materials, I'm actually not sure where to source it from. And my team is trying to see where we can import it from. That's also another hurdle. We try to decrease the amount of imports that we're doing for our materials or for our products. So the textile is even more challenging because we do produce daily wear. For our shoes, we make beautiful shoes out of the waste. The sole is part of the huge challenge in terms of sourcing material as well. Even the laces, all of those things are imported. We have beautiful leather, but leather itself cannot be a bag as shoes. So, yeah.
Where do you see yourself 10 years down the line, particularly as a woman entrepreneur? With all the challenges that one faces.
I would say that we would be the largest brand within my continent, Africa, and then the largest manufacturing within East Africa as well. And I do see myself opening a training space for women. If I can make it 100%, great. If not, I'll stick with that 80% that I have. Training center to do skill gap filling. So we'll be doing that as well. I see us as a 360 brand as well, not only doing bags but also clothes, shoes, and involving other producers as well, makers in my industry, in my sector, and involving that and creating a one-center platform to be able to market it abroad as well.
Well, good luck, and thank you very much indeed for joining me. Semhal, it was really a pleasure having you on my show.
Thank you so much for having me.